Jamison, can you hear me? Okay.
Good morning. If we can get all of our treasured guests to take a seat, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Good morning, friends and colleagues. Welcome to Long Beach State. We're so thrilled to have you all here on this momentous history-making morning. To welcome, my name is Beth Lesson, and I am Vice President of Student Affairs here. And I'd like to welcome a number of our campus treasured colleagues and dignitaries who've joined us this morning. Welcome to Dr. Jane Close Connolly, our campus president, and Scott Appel, our CFO, and our provost, Dr. Karen Sissom-Gunn, and our vice president for university relations and development, Michelle Cheska. If I have left anyone out, please charge it to my head and not my heart. Now, at this time, I am going to request Cynthia Guidry, from the director of the Long Beach Airport, who will welcome us this morning and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Long Beach, and welcome to the Mission AstroAccess panel discussion celebrating the historic October 17th parabolic flight and ambassadors first waitlist experience. The flight was the first step towards a future of inclusive space travel and launched from right here in Long Beach. What an awesome time. Since Douglas Aircraft began manufacturing the C-47 and Boeing the B-17 near what is now our Long Beach Airport, our community has been a home to aerospace. And our airport has been a place of innovation to the future of flight. Now, the home to Virgin Orbit, Zero G, Boeing, Spin Launch, Relativity, and SpaceX, we have become, as Mayor Garcia coined it, Space Beach, the home of the future of the commercialization of space. The Long Beach Airport and the City of Long Beach are proud to be a partner in how the entry of space will be open to all. And the first flight that we hear about and celebrate today was the launch point for universal and accessible space access for all. So next, I'd like for President Dean Connolly to come up and say a few words. Please welcome her.
Thank you, Cynthia. We're really glad to have you here. I'll take just a second to welcome you on behalf of the entire university, but my real reason for inserting myself in this program is that I was here to welcome Dana, alumna, on Friday. And Dana was slightly a little later than after I had to leave because she was being interviewed for some documentary or something important. She chose that over my welcome. I'm so surprised, but we were so delighted to be playing even a small part in this amazing thing that has just happened. And I can't wait to learn more about it. So again, welcome everybody and go Beach.
Thank you. So to lead us through the flight and where we go from here, I would like to introduce moderator Ann Capusta, Mission Director for AstroAccess. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Excellent. Hi, everyone. My name is Ann Capusta. Thank you so much for having us here and allowing us to have this moderated discussion with our ambassadors about their flight yesterday. I'm going to take off my mask. Such an exciting day, a historic moment, and we're really, really excited to share that with you all. So with us today for the panel, there are only 3 of the 12 ambassadors that were on the flight yesterday. It's mainly due to size limitations and getting 12 people up here, but our other ambassadors are in the audience and around for answering questions during the discussion. So make sure that you speak to them if you're here in person. On the panel today, we have going from right to left, we have Dana Bowles, who flew with us yesterday. Dana works at NASA in communications and is really excited to be here to, be part of the CSU LV community. George Whitesides is sitting to her left. He is the project lead and creator of this idea, along with Anna Volker. They were the inspiration for bringing this together and making this all happen about a year ago. So he's here to kind of represent from the mission side. To the left of him is Dr. Mona Minkara. She is an associate professor of bioengineering at Northeastern University and one of our flyers yesterday. And to her left is Cici Mazik, who is a former Army jump master and Paralympian who also flew with us yesterday. So that is our esteemed panel today. And so excited to facilitate this conversation with them. So. All right, so first question, and this is to everybody, and I will start it with Dana. What does AstroAccess mean to you? When you heard about this program, what was the, kind of your first impression of like what we were doing here and why did you apply?
I saw this as a chance to raise our community to a whole new level. So many people with disabilities still, there's a lot of stigma still around disability. And so by including us in this very fascinating, important step we're taking to go farther into space, I think it's gonna have an incredible impact to raise the status and to have people feel very proud to be part of such a community. Our efforts that we're making in this arena is to help make space accessible to all and to be inclusive of everyone. And as we all know, building it in later is not really the most efficient way to do it. And sometimes it's not even possible to retrofit something to make it more accessible. So we really need to be involved in the beginning, and we need to be valued for the expertise we bring to the table. And I think this very capable team of ambassadors, I think we're all very capable to communicate those differences or those accommodations that can help make space more open for everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dana. Mona, what did this mean to you? Why did you apply?
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna tell a little bit of a story here. So everybody, was probably sitting there listening to NPR over the summer, hearing all these people getting to go into space. And I had a very vivid memory of just listening to that and like hearing it multiple times on my on my morning routine of listening to the news and be like, man, I want to go into space. And I just like said this to like multiple people. And then 1 week later, I kid you not, I get a call from my friend, Dr. Sherry Wells Jensen, and she's like, Mona, there's this really cool project. You really ought to think of doing this. You need to apply. I was like, what is this project? She goes, it's AstroAccess. We're sending 12 people with disabilities to experience zero gravity. You want to do it? And I literally like almost dropped the phone. And I was like, what? I want to do it. Of course I want to do it. I want to be part of this amazing mission. What do I need to do? And it was like 1 week before I was actually going on a trip to Lebanon. My family's originally from Lebanon. And she was like, you got to like do a video and fill out all this stuff. I was like, okay, I got it. So I literally started to have excitement racing through like the nerves of my body until, waiting to find out if I actually got accepted. for like a month. It was like, and I was trying to forget about it. And I was like, well, what if I got to go? I can be part of the future. I can be part of the group of people, the crew that gets to shape accessibility in space. Just think about that. We are shaping accessibility in space. We are moving things forward. So that's what that means to me. And I'm so honored to be a part of it. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much, Mona, and thank you for the enthusiasm you bring. I think it runs through all of us as well. So, and Cece, why did you apply? What drew you to AstroAccess?
Well, my story is a little bit like Mona's. I was driving and Dan Clear from DAV, Disabled American Veterans, he called me while I was driving from the VA, and he says, Cece, would you like to go to space? I said, I feel like I'm already in space, like that. He was like, no, seriously, would you like to take a parabolic flight? And I'm like, okay, really? And my heart started racing as I was driving. And I'm like, yeah, why not? I used to jump out of airplanes. I want to see how it feels to stay on board. So, of course, I applied. And as Mona said, the anticipation of waiting to see if you got accepted. That was the thing. In my heart, I felt like it would be a great experience for us to shape the future in space, because I honestly believe that we all will be living there. I do. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Cece. And George, last but not least, what's AstroAccess mean to you? Why did you create this?
Well, thanks a lot. Let me just say sincere thanks to our hosts at Cal State University Long Beach, President Connolly and Beth and Jeff and everybody else who's been so kind to welcome us into this community. And it's such a great, innovation center for aerospace now. I mean, it's incredible over a very short period of time to see how Long Beach has, transitioned from being the center of one form of aerospace manufacturing to a new form of aerospace manufacturing, and the hundreds, if not thousands of, high quality, challenging engineering and manufacturing jobs that are now being created. We were over in the Virgin. I'm going to get to your question in just 2 seconds. We were over in Virgin Orbit, which is on the north side of the airport, and we saw this massive 3D printing machine. The most advanced 3D printing machine, or one of the most advanced 3D printing machines in the world, really. And how exciting to have that right next door to your university. And the pipeline must be so incredible for the students who are attending CSU Long Beach. I like to say to students who are interested in AstroAccess, and we have an incredibly talented one in the audience, Mary. Where's Mary? Mary back there, doing AstroAccess at Stanford. She's the luckiest person in the room because she is graduating at exactly the right time. It's the new space age right now, and that's why this mission is so important, right? I mean, let's inject principles of accessibility and universal design and equality and equity into the future of space. That is what it's all about. There are all kinds of vehicles that people like Mary are going to be designing in just a few years. New space stations, new orbital vehicles, new suborbital vehicles, evolutions of existing vehicles, and eventually, lunar and Mars missions. And we need to integrate principles of universal design into those. That's going to make those vehicles not just accessible to a wider range of potential astronauts. And by the way, European Space Agency and NASA are thinking about this extensively. And I think the European Space Agency actually had 200 disabled applicants to their latest astronaut call, which is really exciting, which opens the door. And I think NASA is thinking seriously about this area. So this is real. This is happening now. This is not some theoretical exercise. This is right now. And it's the perfect time to have, a practical demonstration of key design aspects that can be integrated. And that's what we did was, we went through a rigorous design process, led in large part by you, Ann, with the MIT Media Lab and other educational institutions to think through what are the kinds of innovations that, simple innovations, frankly, that and in some cases, just little things that can make the experience more accessible. Before I close, I just want to say a big thanks to Anna Volker, who wave and maybe say hello to the crowd here. Anna was really the driving force here. And I also just want to recognize HR. Is HR in the room somewhere? HR over there. And Sherry Wells Jensen, sort of these three, the spiritual leaders of this program who we sort of dreamed it up over the course of a year, and wouldn't have happened without them, and the extensive group of partner organizations that you can see on the press release of their website. We're really grateful to the long list of folks and organizations from the disability community, from the space community, from the academic community who've come together to support this amazing program. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay, so now to the good question. What was your favorite moment during the zero-G flight yesterday? And this will go to everybody again. I'm going to start with Cece on this one.
My favorite moment of the parabolic flight was flipping upside down continuously. I was trying to gain control as I flipped, but I never could really do it by myself. But with the help of Jim, one of our crew members, he was trying to teach me how to balance. And that was my favorite moment, just trying to gain control. I love to have control. I do. So yeah, I wish we had more time floating so I could do other various things so I could have more control. But that was my favorite part of it, of me doing tricks. Yes.
Well, hopefully a suborbital flight in the future will give you, 4 or 5 minutes of continuous time for that,
Absolutely.
so.
I would love that. I would love that. Thank you.
And then we'll get you
Ann.
up on orbit for like 6 months of that.
Yes.
So. Awesome. Thanks, Cece. Dana, what was your favorite moment during the flight yesterday?
I think my favorite moment was the simulation of the lunar gravity, and because that was the first time I was able to lift up off the floor and not get so high to the ceiling. So, but it was nice. It was just, it's just enough to get that feeling of freedom and say, yeah, let's do another one and let's go higher. So
awesome. Thanks. So George, you were on the flight yesterday and got to be there with the crew. What was your favorite moment that you had yesterday?
Honestly, to be perfectly frank, it was a partnership with Sawyer and Eric. I was working in the mobility group, and Sawyer and Eric, can you just raise your hands? And these two guys were incredible partners as we explored a set of demonstration projects that we had established. But I thought it was, the crew itself worked really well. We did some work in an accelerated period of time to come together and to think through the demonstrations that we were going to perform, and set the cabin up in a way that we could get some real data. And it worked really terrific. And you'll see some of this. I don't know, maybe the pictures that were cycling earlier. You'll see some of the pictures of these guys and everyone, but they look fantastic and look like you're having not too bad a time.
Yeah, can we switch it to show those photos now? It's a great introduction. We'll just put them on in the background and you can see some of the.
Why don't we just talk about it? So that was
Yeah.
Eric Shear there, and there's Apurva. Where's Apurva? Where's? Okay, there's Apurva. There's Mary, and there's Apurva looking like a space ninja there. And then there's Mary again, Mary and Victoria. There's Victoria. There's another Victoria. Photographer like taking pictures of Victoria. There's Zuby. Where's Zuby?
Zuby's in an interview right
Oh,
now.
he's in an interview.
Yep.
Okay, there's Mona having a great time. And another one, Mary. Oh, there's Victoria. I'm sorry, Mona. Oh, wait. seeing a bunch of images here. There's Eric, CEO of Scout. Good product placement there, Eric. Yeah. So anyway, some great shots in there, and there'll be more on our website as we go forward. There's the crew looking good in there. Oh, and this is just great. This is Sawyer here. We were doing some experiments with his suit, flight suit, and I think those worked pretty well. So should ask him about it. But, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. Mona, what was your favorite moment during flight yesterday?
This is a tough one. I'm gonna start off with, I think, I don't remember who said it, but I heard it multiple times, the advice of really taking your time in the beginning and like feeling the sensation in your body. So I was like, I don't know what to expect. I'm very excited. So I was laying there, and I think my favorite moment is when I first started to feel actually the Martian, the lunar, like all of them for the first time. I couldn't stop laughing. I just couldn't stop laughing. I was just like, like it was just like a phenomenal experience of like slowly feeling like, imagine, I don't know how many of you have ridden a roller coaster. Imagine going up the roller coaster, but then at the top, you start to, instead of going down, you start floating away. Like I kept on visualizing just like going up the roller coaster and you're just like floating away. And I just couldn't stop laughing and being surprised to how much I could move, like how far I can move. And then I was surprised. I hit my head on the ceiling, because like I'm too excited all the time. And then I have a very vivid snapshot of my feet hitting, I think, the ceiling. I'm not really sure. Not the floor, at least, I can tell you that. And then just being like utterly surprised, like, what? When did this happen? There's just so many snapshots of like throughout, I feel like I could talk all day, but I was just in awe of going through an experience that I have never had in my life. I have never been in a situation in which I am not tethered to anything. I remember the first time I like left the floor, I was like, oh, I'm not touching anything. And just being like utterly surprised because, immediately your reaction is like, oh, I might fall, but like, you're just not falling. I don't know how else to articulate that, but that was a phenomenal mental space that I entered. So the first moments, I can't relive those again, right? Because like the first has already happened, but those were very vivid moments for me. So thank you.
Thanks. So Mona, I'm going to leave this question to you. So looking back, if you could change anything on your first flight and do something differently and get those moments back again, is there anything that you would do differently going into the zero-G flight?
Well, to be honest, I had no concept of how short the times are. So I think I had like these like very ambitious like goals. I'm going to do this and that. And I'm going to go to this side of the cat. No, like it's so short, so quick. And so, yeah, I realized like really quickly, okay, I need to be focused if I have a goal for this upcoming parabola. So that's something I think I would do a little bit differently, is like recognize and just try to be a little bit more cognizant and keep my task list more manageable. I really wanted to do the hamster wheel, which is when you crawl all around the cabin, but I never made it more than halfway through. And it was like halfway through, it's like legs down. So I feel like I would like manage those expectations a little bit better. But honestly, that's not a regret either. I think that's part of life. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. So the flip side of that, I'm going to pass to Dana. Looking forward, what are you going to do on our next flight? Now that you've got this experience.
Yeah, let me see. That's a hard one. The time was very short each time that we were in the air. And so I think because it was so short, I spent so much worry about when we're going to fall that I didn't go very far. I think next time what I would do is just focus more on enjoying being in the air rather than feeling like I had to stick to my area, the yoga mat that they had for us. And for me, I get a lot out of practicing, right? Doing it first. And then I have ideas on how I would do it better. And I think that given another chance, I do feel like I'd be a lot more focused and a lot more productive now that I know what it feels like to have the flight and to kind of know the cycle of floating and not, and floating and not. So that creates a bit more of a challenge than if we would be in space, because going into space, we wouldn't have that constant transition, which increases the difficulty quite a bit. But it is a very valuable experience, and I think I would do better and each time.
Awesome. Thanks, Dana. And George, Dana brought up yoga mats. Can you explain the concept of why we're using yoga mats in this first flight?
What we were really hoping to do was, in essence, to show how folks with different types of disability can easily and in a straightforward manner fly on the next generation of spaceships that the United States is building, or other countries. But we'd happen to have already five vehicles, sorry, that are have either in test flight or in current flight. The SpaceX Dragon, Virgin Galactic, Spaceship Two, Blue Origin, New Shepard, Boeing Starliner, and Lockheed Martin Orion. So that's an incredible moment. There's never been a time when a country is building 5 different human spaceflight vehicles at once. So it's an incredible moment in American human spaceflight innovation. And one of the key aspects for safe space operations is being able to post after microgravity to get back in your seat for reentry. So that's applicable to both suborbital and orbital, probably somewhat more applicable to suborbital, but applicable to both. And so that was a very simple demonstration that all of the ambassadors were able to succeed at, was just to sort of navigate around the cabin in zero gravity and then get back to their seating area for reentry. And so that just served as a proxy for the seats in a future vehicle. Because at the end of the day, what we're really trying to do here is actually not fly folks on parabolic flights, although that's an interesting demonstration, but it is to fly people into space. And that's why we have to keep that goal in mind. And that was the rationale.
Great. And would you say we were successful in that first flight test demonstration yesterday?
Yeah, I think we really succeeded on that metric.
Awesome. Thanks, George. Okay, Cece, I'm going to send this question to you. This team, your fellow teammates, your fellow crewmates that were up there, how did you connect with them in this kind of short time frame since we selected the team of ambassadors, and then particularly in the time from when you arrived here in Long Beach on Friday through the flight yesterday? How did you really kind of connect with your teammates? And do you think there's a lasting connection here with the crew that we have?
Well, first of all, the crew, my crew members, the ambassadors, they're all amazing with different various backgrounds. And yes, I believe that this is an everlasting friendship. We have the greatest camaraderie. We're all friendly, we're kind. And yes, I connected with a lot of individuals first. Eric, first of all, we were at MIT together, and Mona here. Amazing. You guys see how enthusiastic she is. So I think we have similar personalities. We're both individuals. So yeah, I think that being a part of this crew, the first crew, is history for me. It is history. We go down in history, and I think we are connected, not only by the flight, but by our conversations and how we converse with one another and get to know one another, and actually explain our life stories and back and forth to each other, and we connect in various ways. And this is just one more connection that we have together. So thank you all, ambassadors, like I said earlier, for including me. I love you guys to the moon and back.
So great. Dana, did you notice anything when you were kind of sticking with this theme of the connectedness of this team that you've now kind of experienced this together? Were there any moments yesterday on the flight when you felt particularly connected to the team, either your fellow ambassadors or the non-ambassador flight team that was flying? Were there any moments yesterday where it really felt like a team up there, or any moments that stood out to you from that aspect?
I did feel very much that we were a team. I mean, we were each segment of the ambassadors. We were grouped by the mobility group and the deaf and hard of hearing and the blind and low vision group. And so we were kind of in our separate sections. And I think what I would do differently maybe next time is to kind of intermingle the groups so that we can get a little bit of the feeling of each other. But it was great. And I did feel very connected to my partner, Katie Coleman. I was very fortunate to get a retired astronaut as my partner. She was amazing. And she was with me on the dress rehearsal the day before. And, I was trying to figure out a way to get from the floor to the seat because I'm a bit heavier than I need to be. It was a bit of a challenge. And so I could tell, she really wanted to help make it easy for me to get into the seat. And more than a few times I had to say, no, I'm fine. Just, I need to figure it out. And I think it was really amazing because the next day I could see it was very different. And she really was trying very hard to let me do things the way I want. I think a lot of times people who don't have disabilities, they see us the way we do things. And because it's not often the way you do it, they don't want to see us, quote, struggle, right? And yet for a lot of us, that's how we do it. And we would rather do it alone than with help if we can. And I think that's the main takeaway, is that this team is very, they worked very hard to give us that autonomy and to also be there as a great support for us. And I'm very thankful for all they did and for the space they gave us to be who we are. So Katie, thanks for your patience. I know I wasn't the easiest person to help, but I really do appreciate what she did. And I was grateful for what she taught me during the flight, because she shared a lot of her expertise. And for that, I think it made my flight more valuable. So.
Mona, question for you. So talking about teams, the blind ambassador team, you guys had quite the connection there. Can you talk a little bit about your fellow blind ambassador teammates and how you guys kind of connected leading into the flight and what happened, on board?
For sure. We were a pretty cool bunch of people, I would have to say, right, Sherry? And Sina and Zuby. So basically, actually, I already knew Sherry. I had met her in person. What year? Like 2018 or something? Yeah, we were both like judges on the Holman Prize for the Lighthouse of the Blind in San Francisco. So I had known her already, and I already knew she was cool. So there was a bond there. I had met Sina virtually, I don't even remember, like less than a year ago, but I had not met him in person. So like the bond was already forming there. And then I got to meet Zuby on the calls before I even came here, like only like a couple weeks, like what is it, like less than a month ago? I don't remember, Zuby. What do you think? I don't know if Zuby's here. But I mean, we all came together and we were all very excited to be working with one another. And we all had the same mission in mind. Like, we're going to break it down. We're going to try to obtain as much data as we can. And we're going to do this scientifically. And we're going to try to show, the knowledge that we obtain from this. So we were like in it together. We're like 1, 2, 3, blind AstroAccess. Like, like, I mean, they will be forever my new blind best friends now. And so I'm really excited to have met them in person, like Sina and Zuby, and to see Sherry again. And I'm just really like honored and just honestly, I was just filled with a lot of warmth to know that to have a connection. I have a very vivid memory of one day we were like WhatsApping, and I was like, "What kind of cane do you use?" Like, I'm trying to buy a new cane because I'm like busting mine, and everybody was just like really sharing their very detailed, specific needs in their cane. It was just like a connection moment for me. I'm like, oh my God, like these people are like me. They really care about the details of the cane, of their cane. So where else can I get that? And I got to have that here. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yay, blind AstroAccess. Okay. And everybody else.
Thanks, Mona. George.
I love you.
So we had the 12 ambassadors on the flight, and Dana was talking a little bit about the non-ambassador flight team that was up there, which you were a part of as well as a couple of folks who have been helping with the AstroAccess team along the way. Can you kind of describe a little bit that team and how they kind of came together and what the connection was there in kind of the role that they played on the flight yesterday?
Sure. I think the broad point that I would make is that this, effort was the result of many people working. Like any space mission, there's a lot of people in the operations team or the ground crew, that work to make the mission successful, safe, and effective, and productive. And so there was a great partnership between many different folks. Dr. Eric Veery was our chief medical advisor with Jim Vanderplug and Shayna. And so we had a really terrific group of folks on different aspects. But I think in terms of the folks who were partnering with the ambassadors on the flight, there was a great sense of partnership and a shared vision. As Dana says, I think, that component of the crew tried to just, support the demonstrations that we all agreed that we were going to conduct. And I think that we accomplished that goal. And so, it was an honor to be on the flight.
Thanks, George. Okay, I want to shift the conversation a little bit just to the future. So Dana, I'd like to pose this question to you. So this demonstration, it's not just for the space community and it's not just for the disabled community. Can you explain a little bit what that means as far as why this is good for everybody and what we're doing here?
So what we're doing as a team and a group is to show the benefit to all by being more inclusive and to drawing upon the unique perspectives that the disabled community has and how to meet their needs and how to do that easier and better in the design of a future environment. Everybody's going to benefit from it. The people who don't yet have disabilities, because they say if you live long enough that a lot of you might join our team. And it's, the designs that we do the equipment that we have to make things accessible for us, it's beneficial to everybody. The curb cuts are good for the women with strollers and the men with strollers and all of that. And so why not build the environment more inclusive of everybody? Because everybody benefits, not just the disabled community, but also that you get the benefit of tapping into the wonderful creativity that our community could bring and to the beauty we bring to living life every day. One thing is I wish one of my dear friends, Richard DeVilder, was very active here at Long Beach. And I just, I wish I could see him now. But he passed away a few years ago, but I'm doing this for our community to raise us all up and to help everybody enjoy life more.
Thank you, Dana. let's see. So Mona, what in particular do you want to, do you hope that this says to the next generation of disabled researchers and explorers? You're a pioneer in the field as a blind professor of biomedical engineering, and I just would love your kind of opinion of what both this flight and what you've done says to the next generation.
I deeply hope that this shows that you can follow your dream. So I'm going to be very honest with you. When I was hearing about all these people going up into space, I think I asked how much does it cost to go into space? And they're like $28 million, something like that. I was like, oh man, like I can't do that. Like even then, I wasn't fully feeling the possibility of achieving my dream. And I think that's the deepest lesson here. As Dana was saying, it's all about living life and being happy and trying to fulfill your heart's desire, trying to fulfill what you really want to do in life. And so I really want this to show the next generation that your dream is not unattainable. It is reachable. It is. You know how we say like reach for the stars? The stars are actually not that far away. I want us to all consider that. How many of us sit down and actually think and listen to our hearts and listen to what we really want to do? How many of us take a minute and step back, every single one of us, and think, are we doing what we love doing? And why don't we do what we love doing? And so what I want the next generation to know is you can do it. And if anybody tells you no, ignore them. Find another person that will support you. Find your supporters. I think Victoria was saying this earlier. Find your supporters. And we, as a crew, now we're bonded together. We are going to be each other's supporters. And may we always, every single one of us here today, remember that no dream is unattainable, that we can do it. So thank you.
Cece. Oh, George, did you want to say something?
Nope.
Nope.
After CCM.
Cece, I wanted to throw this question to you. As a disabled veteran, you joined this disabled community, kind of to Dana's point, that statistics show that at one point or another, all of us will join, whether we join permanently or go in or out of this disabled community. One in 5, 1 in 4 of us have a disability. What would you say to kind of the disabled veteran community, or just to the community of newly disabled people, about what AstroAccess and what we're doing here for Designing for Accessibility really means for that community, and any thoughts that you have on kind of connecting that community in with this?
Well, for my disabled veteran community, I would definitely let them know that life isn't over. I would say find your passion and make your passion your profession, and it's not going to feel like a job. If it's something that you love to do, like Mona was saying. And also, this thing with being disabled, and I always say, don't diss my ability, because I am abled. We all are abled. And also I will let them know that life truly begins at the end of your comfort zone. It really does. And I said personally to myself, I'm going to ride this until the wheels fall off. God gave me a second chance at life. I'm going to do what I want to do, what I love to do. And it's no stopping me. I am unstoppable. We all are. Just believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, and they will come true. just look at my life. I'm just gonna share this little bit. I was 27 when this happened to me, a single parent of a 1-year-old. And all I could think about was him when this happened to me. And I said to myself, how am I gonna raise a 1-year-old being in a wheelchair? But I was determined. And the doctor said that I would never walk again. And that was a lie, because look. I would share that with my disabled community and everyone else, that when someone tells you no, there is a yes. And when one door closes, another one opens. And walk through every door that is open. And I did not know how I was going to raise my son, being a disabled individual, but I did it. Today, my son is 19 and he's a sophomore in college, and I did it. I did that. And it's so hard, but I know if you have determination, strength, and a great support system, you can do anything you put your mind to. And AstroAccess, when this opportunity came to me, for number one, humble, grateful to experience something that I always wanted to experience. Because of course, yes, I used to jump out of airplanes, but I want to stay on one and see how it feels to go higher, to go to the moon, to go to Mars. And when this opportunity came through DAV, Disabled American Veterans, with who I'm grateful for as well, I felt so humble. And I said that to myself, yes, it may be a scary situation, but face your fear, Cece, because you've done it all your life. And I did it. And I did it. And I thank you all for giving me this opportunity. And we are paving the way for the future. We are the future. This is the first flight among many that will be out there. And we will, I know we will, George, make space accessible. I know we will. Thank you.
Cece, one follow-up to that. A lot of that, beautiful. A lot of the astronaut corps has a military background. Do you believe that the astronaut corps can have a disabled military background after yesterday?
Yes, I do believe. Yes, let me talk in front of a panel and we will. Absolutely, give me the opportunity
Awesome.
to express myself. And I do believe that dream can come true.
Awesome.
All right, I think we're getting close to the closing time. I just wanted to do two quick things, sorry, which I can certainly accomplish in 3.5 minutes, no question. So I want to do two things. The first one, as I mentioned, this was the product of a lot of different people coming together, but I really wanted to recognize 3 of them right now. And so if I could just get, well, Ann is here. If I could get Anna to come up, and if I get Tim to come up real quick. This was the result of a lot of volunteer labor and people giving of their time and their life force to make something really wonderful happening. And so, Christy, if you could come up here. We were so lucky to have Katie Coleman, a retired NASA astronaut, on board. And it turns out that Katie Coleman is married to an incredible artist. And if we could just maybe remove the the first thing. Her husband, Josh Simpson, has been making artisanal glass planets. Interestingly, a dozen years before they actually met. And people give them a hard time because he makes planets and she wants to go to them. But we thought that that would be a perfect thank you to some of our core organizing team. If you could maybe pass out the globes and take them out. They're actually super beautiful. And I think represents what we're all about, which is that we're going towards a future in space together. You know, that expansion off of planet Earth will be a long journey. And if we can embed an identity of accessibility into that future, it's going to be super great. So that's what we're going for. And thanks so much. Maybe you can go out there and just hold them up together and we'll take a nice picture. I believe Anne's flew on 0G, so that's kind of cool. All right, and Anna and Tim, you represent a wider range of people who really came together to put this together, and we're deeply grateful to all of them. The last thing that I wanted to do was just to ask all of the ambassadors to come up below the stage here and stand up, and we just love to recognize your willingness to step up on behalf of the accessible community and the future of humanity. So if you can just come up here all and just stand up here and face the audience, and we'll recognize you as the explorers that you are. Terrific. All right. Thank you so much for today. Thank you so much to CSU Long Beach and to President Connolly. Thank you. And Beth, we're so lucky for the partnership, and hopefully we can continue it into the future. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations. Congratulations, Michelle Chesbach, our Vice President here.